5 days to the appeal court deadline when the mediation team is expected to report back on the progress in resolving the doctors' impasse. Parties to the mediation converged at KNCHR headquarters to seek compromise. In attendance were officials of the Doctors' Union, KMPDU, Health PS Nicholas Muragori, representatives from the Ministry of Labour, representatives from Office of the Attorney General, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission CEO Ann Gitao, as well as representatives from the PSC. The closed-door meeting laying ground for the talks on its first day, with the doctors and the government officials giving their terms of reference. It is understood that despite the negotiations not being concluded prior to the incarceration of the doctors' officials, progress had been made, and now only 3 contentious issues remain unresolved. One being the consensus pay proposals fronted by the doctors. The government has stood its ground that it can only manage up to a 40% pay hike with a job grade up from each level the doctors are on. The doctors insist at least a 150% pay rise calculation as per Appendix A of the Collective Bargaining Agreement, where the lowest doctor is to be paid 107,000 shillings from a low of 35,910 and push a doctor intern total monthly pay to 325,730 shillings from 127,000. During the talks, the government had offered an extra 500 million shillings to doctors, 10,000 shillings more in allowances, an offer the doctors rejected, instead insisting on a 300% rise in basic pay and increment in allowances. The second contentious issue is the implementation date, whereas the government's position is that it should take effect from 1st July this year with no arrears. The Doctors' Union position remains it should be immediate and backdated to 1st July 2013. The third issue being that of postgraduate studies for doctors, where the union wants fees directly paid to the institutions of learning. The CBA, however, carries a raft of proposals that touch on the welfare of doctors, injecting 1,200 doctors a year into the fraternity, the employment conditions, for instance, where the work hours should be 40 hours a week and any extra hours be compensated, a doctor's room and a call room to allow doctors rest, particularly when working long shifts and night duties. There have been complaints of instances where doctors have been killed while en route or from work while on call. The medical equipment provided to each facility be reasonably equipped, where the government argues implementation of the MES program has catered for. The entry grade for interns as per the CBA was not agreed upon in the CBA, with the union's position being that doctor interns enter the service at Job Group M and the ministry's position being it be retained at Job Group L. The CBA also states doctors want 400 residency positions for self-sponsored registrars providing services in government institutions during their course of training, while the ministry argued it is not the training institution and could therefore not create residency positions. The Court of Appeal, through a 3-judge bench, released the KMPDU officials, now known as the CBA 7, on Wednesday on a 4-part consent that negotiations continue within 7 days with a view to resolving the outstanding issues in order to restore normalcy. The talks are expected to resume tomorrow. Jackie Maribe, Citizen Weekend.